Okay. Yeah. Well, there's 3 bar things, so.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's enough to get us through tonight. If not, not we're playing hot
Oh,
potato.
we're down to 2 now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Disconcerting. We'll keep an eye on things. Basically, if it turns red, it's just telling you that we've got some time. But if it turns off completely, then
I'll just sing really, really loud.
that's exactly right. That's what we'll do. Okay. So,
Wait, I don't know what I just did with my water bottle.
disappeared. Did you put it over here just an instant?
I maybe have put it over some. Let me just look at it.
So, just is Kevin gonna be here? Yeah, that's good. So I'll just scooch that way. Okay, maybe be careful there. These are tough steps. You need a hand? Yes. Yes? Very well coming up. I don't know how to come up. Give me 1 second. I'll come in. Down is hard. They tell you that at PT. Down is always harder than up.
I know, like when I hike, I don't like going downhill.
Yeah, actually one of the worst experiences in my life, biggest mistake ever, was going down Masada.
Oh.
Going up Masada is tough, but going down Masada is actually harder.
They made us go down, and I slipped down.
It was like a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
One of our cousins is a tour guide, though, and of all the things, right, we're coming down the mountain, and who do I see? Is him, like, 50 feet in front of everybody else, just, running up the mountain like it's nothing. That guy's in too good a shape. Just make sure. All right. How you feeling? Good. You look as calm as possible. That's
Kevin's always calm.
That's same thing. That's generally speaking, all that matters the most. Good. Let me just make sure. And do you guys have everything you need to get Morty in? Okay. Good.
I think he'll probably
Working
say
in.
something.
Okay. Good.
So,
I'll start with just like a couple of words, then we'll do a big song, do blessings. Yeah. All right. Good Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos. Look at this. Look at this crowd. Look at this turnout. This makes a rabbi very happy, I have to say. All you wonderful, smiling through your mask faces. And, Kevin, I'll just say, they show up like this for me and Lauren, but I think there is something special that drew them here tonight. And a special Neil, who I imagine made a lot of phone calls this week also. Right? Yes, the temperature, yeah. It's got to hit at least once in a while, right? That's it. But in all truth, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is a really wonderful Shabbat for a lot of reasons. The first is, and we're going to see, this is already an indication of the kind of menschy person that we are going to have with us. Kevin is over here, Kevin McKenzie, who is our future cantor. Morty, good Shabbos. Howard, good Shabbos. I know that hand anywhere. Oh, no, that was Bob. Never mind. So Kevin, who will be taking over for our beloved Lauren, and we are so excited that he is here with us tonight, and also his wonderful girlfriend, Nikki, who is here as well. So hopefully you'll get a chance to talk to them, schmooze them up, welcome them. And of course, Lauren's wonderful fiance. I like to be able to say that. Aaron, future rabbis of America. And so you really have in the room a lot of the beautiful future in front of us and the beautiful present in front of us. And as we've been talking to Kevin about what makes our community is that love, right? That feeling of connection. And we're so excited to have you with us when you officially take the position, and the fact that you and Lauren are such dear friends and thought to come together tonight. We'll have a chance to hear you guys sing together a little bit, and Aaron is actually going to deliver the drash in just a bit, as he is about to head to the West Coast in a couple of weeks. So this is our last chance to learn a little bit from him. And certainly to acknowledge that this has not been any normal week in our country, and there are many things I certainly have that I would like to express about what's been going on in Washington, but I'm going to defer my remarks in total to next week. But at the end of the service, I will give a little bit of information for anyone who is looking to get a little bit more engaged and involved and knowledgeable. Certainly we will make accommodation for that time as well. But really tonight is about, as I said, our present, our future, and Kevin, we welcome you on behalf of the entire congregation into a long line of beloved cantors, and we know that you will step into this role with the same kind of just wonderful demeanor that you expressed to me and Neil across the Zoom of all things, and we just know it's when it's right, as it was with Lauren. So we're going to, as I said, have a few opportunities to hear you both together tonight. So we're going to start actually with an opening song, which is Dodi Lee on page 129. And I'll step away and we'll get Kevin right up.
I haven't heard that Dodi Lee before.
Dodi Lee vani roharoe pashoshani Dodi Lee vani roharoe pashoshani mizotola min hamidbar mizotola moru levona Dodi Lee vani roharoe pashoshani Dodi Lee vani roharoe pashoshani Libavtini achoti kala Libavtini kala Libavtini achoti kala Libavtini kala Dodi Lee vani loharoe pashoshani Dodi Lee vani loharoe pashoshani uri safon uvoiteman uri safon uvoiteman Dodi Lee vani loharoe pashoshani Dodi Lee vani loharoe pashoshani.
We'll turn now to page 120 as we light and bless our Shabbat candles. I'll do the lighting. Cantor, you'll do the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat.
Amen. We'll turn now to page 130, Lechu Naranana, at the very top of the page.
Let us sing unto God a new song. unto God, sing unto God a new song. Hi-na-i, 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 Nekad malefana betoda Bizmirot narialo Bizmirot narialo
Welcome Kevin back up to the bima as we turn to page 131, Shiru Ladonai.
I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru Adonai shir chadash.
We'll turn now to page 132, or Zarua, the last Hebrew paragraph at the bottom of the page.
Or Zarua latzadik u'yishelev simcha. Or Zarua latzadik u'yishelev simcha. Or Zarua latzadik u'yishelev simcha. U'yishelev simcha. Or Zarua latzadik u'yishelev simcha. U'yishelev simcha.
We turn now to page 134, Zamru Ladonai, beginning at the top of the page in Hebrew.
Zamru Ladonai bechinor, bechinor vekol בכינור בקול זמרה זמרו לאדוני בכינור בכינור בקול זמרה זמרו לאדוני בכינור בכינור בקול זמרה זמרו לאדוני בכינור בכינור בקול זמרה.
We turn now to page 135, Romamu, which is the Hebrew paragraph just in the middle of the page.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
We'll turn now to page 138, Lecha Dodi. Reminder, we'll do the first, second, fifth, and ninth paragraphs, and for the final paragraph, we will rise and face towards the back of the room in body or in spirit.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת לתחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו בניך, כי מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת I just said that one. התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלי תפילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Please be seated. That actually brings me back. My first 3 months on the job here, every Friday night when we got to L'chadodi was my greatest fear because I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to skip one. It happens to me every time.
I've done it probably 3 or 4 times.
Then you're
since I've
Hall
been
of
here.
Fame level of batting average, so you're doing very well. You're doing great. We're on page 140, Mizmor Shir.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך באלות. עלה עשור ועלה מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק אתה יפרח, כארץ בלבנון ישנא, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובו בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי, בלא עוולת עמו.
We turn now to page 144 and we rise in body or spirit for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, וילמד דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם יינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירה מעלמה ויאמרו amen.
Remain standing for the Baruch Hu on page 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Marechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. We'll turn now to page 148. We'll read together in English at the bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים.
Amen. We turn to page 150.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו. מבטך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו,
אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, Adonai Echad.
Please join with me on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Let's read together on the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. As we turn to page 158, Mi Chamocha.
And I'd love to invite Kevin back up.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai תפארת, מלכותך ראו בניך, הוקע לפני משה ומרים, צאלי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני, ימלוך, לעולם, אדוני, ימלוך, לעולם ועד.
We'll now turn to page 160.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship give our shelter from life's storm.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Hashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkiveinu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
Hashkiveinu,
Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
I'm not really sure why I'm here. I think, honestly, we should just leave the two of you up here. It's beautiful. Just beautiful. You need to remind me this? You know how many white beard hairs I now have since anyway, another time. You're doing great, Kevin. So we're going to turn now to Vishamru, page 162.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושם ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת.
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השמיעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
I now invite everyone to rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 164. We'll begin the Amidah together, and then as we always do from that point, continue silently on our own. As always, please go at your own pace, and if you are standing when you're finished, you may be seated.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agit ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Ay, 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 יעשה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
As we turn to page 371 to offer our Mishaberach this evening, we will begin by thinking of those in our community and connected to our community. I think tonight of Sydney Ross, Roberta Kyle, Rivka Bat Yehuda Vabela, Eve Rose, Michoel Ben Chananya, David Kyle Klotman, Bensi Tepper, Samuel Moskowitz, Devora Bat Sima, Michael Klinghofer, Norma Paulsack, Amy Cass, Steve Levine, Rivka Bat Rachel, Gail Gambino, Leah Bat Naomi, Gedalia Ben Sylvia, Lorraine Danis, David Dowling, Tivia Devora Bat Francis, Myra Peskowitz, Martin Stephen Blake, Chaim Leib, Deborah Block-Kroll, Sylvia Orn, Michelle Sawicki, Francis Kirschman, Paul Eric Feuden, Bat Esther, and Shelley Newmark. In addition to the names I just read, of course, we continue to pray for the people of Ukraine, and we offer this opportunity for anyone who's in the room with us tonight. If we didn't mention the name of your loved ones, you can certainly mention them now. We'll start on this side of the room and work towards the back, and then this side of the room. And of course, also invite those watching at home to share the names of their loved ones, either in their heart or out loud. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead. We'll join together now with the cantor on page 371 in the middle of the page as we offer our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Ekor HaBracha May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu, bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
It's now my privilege to invite up a future star of the Reform Rabbinate, Aaron Blasban, who is going to deliver our drasha this evening. And Aaron, we thank you for being here. I know you're equally proud on either side of this equation. So, Bima is yours.
Thank you. Before I get started, I just want to give my thanks to Rabbi Dan and to everyone in this community. You really have opened your hearts and your doors and welcomed Cantor Lauren and I can just say that it's been an honor these past 2 years to be a part of your holy community, and this truly is a prime example of a Kahila Kadosha. Which leads us right into this week's Parsha, Kedoshim. This past weekend, starting on Yom HaShoah, I took a trip with 20 8th and 9th grade students from Central Synagogue to the South to learn about the civil rights movement in the United States. We visited many powerful and historic sites along our trip and spoke to many important people that were involved and on the ground in the movement. We went to the Rosa Parks Museum, the Memorial for Peace and Justice, also known as the Lynching Memorial, and the Equal Justice Initiative's Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Alabama. We walked over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. We did a walking tour of Freedom Park and the 16th Street Baptist Church with Bishop Calvin Wallace Woods Sr., who was a senior member of the movement's leadership alongside Martin Luther King Jr. in Birmingham, Alabama. We toured Martin Luther King's neighborhood and went to his family's church for services to hear Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock give a sermon in Atlanta, Georgia. We went to so many amazing places and met so many amazing people. And for me, the most powerful moment of the trip occurred while we were touring Selma with someone you probably have never heard of. Her name was Miss Joanne Bland. Now, if you ever meet Miss Bland, make sure you don't forget the Miss, because as she says, I'm an old school Black grandma. We are quick to discipline, but even quicker with love. Miss Bland was a part of the Bloody Sunday, Turnaround Tuesday, and finally the successful march over the Edmund Pettus Bridge from Selma to Montgomery that took 5 days. She, at the time, was 11 years old. While she was showing us Brown Chapel AME Church in Selma, she showed us a wall that honored the names of those who fought for civil rights in Selma. She told us, I don't like walls like these because there is always someone who is forgotten. She asked us, what was the most important piece of history? Nobody had an answer. She gave us the answer. Every single person who was there, every single foot soldier, every single leader of the movement, every single one of them, and every single one of you was the most important piece of history. She made every single one of us there, student and staff, say it loud and say it proud, I am the most important piece of history. Now, I won't make you all say it individually, but whether you are here in person, if you're watching on the live stream, or you're watching this service back, I want you to say it loud and proud. Repeat it after me. I am the most important piece of history. Oh, you can do it better than that. Say it proud. I am the most important piece of history. Thank you. How perfect it was when I come back home and see that this week's Parsha is Kedoshim. In this Parsha, we have God instructing Moses to speak to the whole Israelite community and tell them, Kedoshim Tihiyu, for I, your God, am Kadosh. God then goes on to describe how it is that we can be Kadosh with several different commandments and instructions. And we see 3 separate verses in the Parsha that God uses this root, Kuf Dalid Shin. It is used in the beginning of the Parsha. Daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael, ve'amarta alehem kedoshim tihiyu, ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. Speak to the whole Israelite community and say to them, you shall be Kedoshim, for I, your God Adonai, am Kadosh. Later in the Parsha, we see it in Leviticus 27. V'hit kadashtem v'hayitem kedoshim ki ani Adonai Elohechem. You shall kadosh yourselves and be holy, for I, Adonai, am your God. Finally, we see it at the end of the Parsha. V'hayitem li kadoshim ki kadosh ani Adonai ve'avdil etchem min ha'amim lihiyot li. You shall be Kedoshim, for I, Adonai, am Kadosh, and I have set you apart from the nations to be mine. Now you may have noticed that I did not translate Kadosh when I was reading the verses. We often translate Kadosh as holy or holiness. I often struggle with this translation because I struggle with defining what holiness really means. However, there's another definition of Kadosh that is often used, and it means to be made separate or to distinguish oneself. There are many instructions in this parsha of how we must distinguish ourselves, and one of these instructions is V'ki yagur itcha ger be'eretzechem lo tonu oto. When strangers reside with you in your land, you shall not wrong them. Ke'ezrach mikem yehye lechem hager. Hager itchem ve'ahavta lo kamocha. Ki gerim hayitem be'eretz Mitzrayim ani Adonai Elohechem. The strangers who reside with you shall be to you as citizens. You shall love each one as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I, Adonai, am your God. So we must separate ourselves and make ourselves distinguished by not wronging the stranger that lives among us, and be as our citizens, and love each one as ourselves because we were strangers once in the land of Egypt. Now, one of the biggest questions many of us had coming into the trip was, how were the Jews involved in the civil rights movement? We all heard of how a Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. across that Edmund Pettus Bridge, and other individuals who were involved throughout the push for civil rights. But what about others of the Jewish community? In the Equal Justice Initiative's Legacy Museum, I saw signs from restaurants and other businesses around Alabama that read, "No N-words, no Jews, no dogs." This made me, as well as Miss Bland, think that when the Jews owned most of the businesses on Selma's main road, that they would treat black people better than the rest of the white-owned businesses. However, Miss Bland told us about how even though the Jews didn't yell at and didn't beat the black people that came into their businesses, they still had white-only sections and separate water fountains and bathrooms. She later talked to those Jews and asked them why they did this. And they told her that the Holocaust had just happened, and they just didn't want to make themselves stand out, and just wanted to blend in like the rest of the people. I did not go through the Holocaust, so I cannot judge their trauma. But to see and hear about the racism and treatment of black people by people who just survived such horrible tragedies and treatment by others because of their identities, to me, is unfathomable. We cannot and must not blend in. We must make ourselves Kedoshim and distinguish ourselves to treat others and love others like ourselves. Not even a day after I returned home from this trip, I saw the Politico article with the release of the draft opinion from Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito that the Supreme Court has voted to strike down the Roe v. Wade decision. This decision is not final, but it is extremely disturbing and outraging. I learned all weekend about how the Supreme Court played a large role into allowing the subjugation, mistreatment, and murder of black people to remain legal with decisions in the court. Now I am seeing the same court make decisions that risk the lives of millions of people and set the dangerous precedent that the government has a right to tell a person what they can do with their own body. Now, I, as a cis, white, straight man living in a liberal state, can just stand back and say that this is a women's issue, that the Black Lives Matter movement and fight for civil rights is a black issue. However, I know that these are issues for humanity, that the Black Lives Matter movement and fight for civil rights I know that these are issues for humanity. Black lives matter. Women's lives matter. All lives should matter. We must take it upon ourselves to act. We must distinguish ourselves, make ourselves Kedoshim, and remember what Miss Bland has taught us all. Repeat after me. I am the most important piece of history. Shabbat Shalom.
Soon to be Rav, Yasher Koch to you. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to speak in front of a room full of people on such a series of important topics. And as you say, that word kadosh is the very essence of who we are. And oftentimes when we attach a translation to it, we diminish it to some degree. You gave us a great thing to consider and to contemplate, and how we are to relate to that concept today and every day. And I thank you for taking this space and for the courageousness of your words. And I know that your fiance and partner is very proud of you in this moment. Yeah, see now, there we go. So I'm actually going to turn it over yet again to Cantor Lauren, who is going to help us to count the Omer, as we're counting the days between the second day of Pesach and the holiday of Shavuot upcoming. We are on page 570. If you choose, rise in body or spirit.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer, hayom echad esrim yom shehem shlosha Shavuot lamer.
We'll turn now to page 586. We'll remain standing in body or spirit. Bottom of the page, Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, Latet Gedula Leotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoye Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpechot Adama, Shelo Samach Elkeinu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Korim Umishtachalim Umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 591. V'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Invite those in mourning and those observing yahrzeit to please remain standing. Everyone else may be seated at this time. We begin this evening by thinking of those who've passed in our community in recent months. Dr. John Abderkin, Faith Diskin, Linda Danath, Arlene Eber, Jay Fagan, Ellen Frank, Chaim Bear Greenwald, Arthur Grossman, Gerald Hirsch, Mark Joseph, Jane Beard Cass, Gertrude Katz, Deirdre Klein, Helene Krotman, Leo Leibowitz, William Lippman, Audrey Lubo, Sandra Tromberg-Luongo, Morty Lynn, Jerry Monroe, Nancy Nagel, Harry Olstein, Jeannie Rubin, Howard Schreier, David Senft, Anita Sheldon, Alan Silver, Marlise Silverberg, Blanche Sklar, Rita Sandra Snyder, and Matthew Adam Zimmerman. We also mark the yahrzeit that occurred during the last week for Alex Abel, Bernard Baumstein, Koppel Berger, Leon Fagan, Ilsa Faller, Bob Fisher, Clara Fleischer, Florence Hirsch, Teresa Jacoby, William Kosberg, Elena Lager, Estee Lauder, Maria Lemos, Arthur Levy, Esther Oberman, Danny Peskowitz, Geraldine Rosen, Esther Rusinoff, Annie Schwartz, Ruth Stein, Beatrice Tarlow, and Joan Strong Tangzilius. If anyone else has a name of someone that we did not mention and you'd like to mention their names? We turn again to page 598 and invite the mourners to join us on page 598 at the very top. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. V'agalav b'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Hehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam li'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'halal shemei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may every one of their memories be for a blessing.
Amen.
Okay, please be seated. And a very, very, very joyous Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Thank you so much for coming tonight and to welcoming Kevin and Nikki into our community. And we're going to say sort of a long goodbye to Lauren. We got still some time with her, but as Aaron is leaving and going to the West Coast shortly, it's probably the last time we'll see you in person for some time. But know that this will always be your home. This place, across town, when we get back to the temple, for both of you, very deeply embedded. And Kevin and Nikki, we know you are going to come into this space as you already have tonight and bring your unique energy, your unique personalities. And I hope that you're feeling all the love. And I promise you there's a whole bunch more people who are very excited for you both, for all four of you that are watching at home. And I can say, just as a general concept, the future of the Reform Rabbinate Cantorate is in very, very good hands. And we really thank you again for everything that you've brought to tonight's service. And again, Aaron, Yasher Koch, to your beautiful and very powerful sermon tonight. Just a few important announcements for us. First is to join us for Shabbat services tomorrow morning, 9:30. Again, services Saturday mornings at this point are still on Zoom only, but we will welcome everyone for Torah study as well at 12 o'clock. It's the first Shabbat of the month, so our Women's Torah Commentary Shabbat this week will be facilitated by Ruth Joseph and Leah Oppenheimer, two of our leaders of the Women's Commentary group, and we've got some exciting things coming up for the summer that we'll also tell you about shortly. Just to acknowledge a few other things coming up this week. And then a mitzvah will be meeting 11:30. It's now. I got to tell Eileen because she still says it's 9, but I trust you. 11:30. My Heschel class is back. Is again at 12 o'clock. Hebrew school is at 3:30 in person. Social Justice Committee will have its regular meeting online at 5. Wednesday Hebrew school meets at 3:30. There is also a board meeting later that evening at 7:30 as well. Also a reminder, on Tuesday, June 7th, which is a little bit further, the East End Food Institute lecture and light meal has been postponed, it says, to Tuesday, June 7th. So if you were expecting to do it, it has been postponed again to June 7th. Also inviting you to join us here at the front of the Whalers Church to celebrate on May 16th. Even though it's not exactly Lag Bomer, we're going to celebrate in the closest way that we can. We will have a barbecue in the front of the church. There will be kosher hot dogs, veggie burgers, so we're trying to cover all of our bases. And I think, Bob is an excellent grill master, so we're figuring out the grilled part of it, but we're in good hands there for sure. So come by again, front of the Whalers Church. Most likely we're going to have to close off the horseshoe there to make it safe. If you're somebody that needs to park closer, we'll let those people in, just indicate it. Anyone else, street parking, and we're going to try to arrange for some additional parking at the St. Andrew's Church across the street as well. So again, that's May 16th. Also a reminder, May 24th, a wine tasting, Channing Daughters Winery. Also another great opportunity for learning about film with our Film Shul friends, this time focusing on the works of Steven Spielberg. That'll be available again on Zoom on May 25th. And then, of course, we're looking forward to one of the great signs that summer is coming. Ruth Joseph's book group will be having its first meeting May 29th. So a lot of information there that hopefully is getting you excited for the month of May, certainly for the rest of the summer. And just as I indicated before, that as Aaron was talking about what's been going on certainly this week in Washington, that I'll share some thoughts of my own next week. But just to give people a sense of some of the things that you can get involved with, the CCAR, the Central Conference of American Rabbis, that is the Reform Movement's rabbinical union, has partnered with the National Council of Jewish Women as one of the co-sponsors for the Jewish Rally for Abortion Justice in Washington, D.C. This is on Tuesday, May 17th. You can find more information by either Googling CCAR or the Jewish Rally for Abortion Justice or the National Council for Jewish Women. All of those helpful websites, certainly. We can also turn to the RAC, to the Religious Action Center, which is basically the political arm of the Reform Movement, which I've spoken about many times. Rabbi Saperstein, who was here a few years ago, who was a major component of its growth over years and is really a central place and voice for us in DC and elsewhere, has lots of different opportunities and things to do to both educate and to get involved. And also to search out many of our colleagues, future colleagues, have written some really beautiful, important works, op-eds, editorials across the country. If you're not finding them on your own, you can let me know and I'll certainly pass them along. But just wanted to make sure that was on everyone's radar. And at this point, I think we're inviting future Cantor. I'm just going to call you Cantor. It just makes it easier. Cantor Kevin, as long as that's cool with you, who's going to help Cantor Lauren for a closing song this evening, and then we'll do Kiddush. So that's all.
So I believe the words can be found on page 128. That is correct, page 128. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. I think we can try that again.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see more clapping. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
We have time to work on it.
How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
That's a good clap. Very good. This is a room to clap in, by the way. This is very good. That's very good acoustics. I think this is
You don't want that?
actually I do very much. Go relax, Nikki. You did a good job. Give him a big hug when he comes down there. So we're going to rise as we turn to page 123 for Kiddush. Again, page 123, rise in body or spirit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikraei kodesh זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Chaim.
All right, L'chaim. Good Shabbos to you. Don't crowd him too much, but come, say hello to Kevin, introduce yourself to Nikki, congratulate Aaron, say hello to Cantor Lauren. And if you can, please help Bob and Josie by bringing your prayer books, your Sidurim back where you got them at the front. It will make everybody's life infinitely easier, I am sure.
I think Neil has an announcement.
Oh, yes, Neil. You're not the introduce. Jeff? We know Jeff. Jeff is... I agree with that. All right, Jeff Britz, we thank you from the bottom of our heart, I personally. And as a matter of fact, I think I still have in my phone when I have your number. It says, very important person to call back. All right? All right, it's great. Everyone, you take care, get home safely. And I feel like I had something else to say, but sei gesund.
It was, now it's green, but it was...
Yeah, it might
Okay.
have just died.